Hi, this is Simon from the Climate Council, still here in Glasgow, but just moments ago, nearly 200 countries formally adopted the Glasgow Climate Pact. Yes, that's right, the deal has been done. I've got to say on many fronts, it is a solid outcome. It's not got everything we want in there, it never would, but from an Australian perspective, it puts enormous pressure on us to step it up over the coming years. It particularly calls on those countries like ourselves that didn't come here with a much stronger commitment for 2030 to come straight back as soon as possible next year, having done that. For the first time in 26 years of UN climate negotiations, there's an explicit call in there for countries to move beyond coal-fired power and to phase out fossil fuel subsidies. There's very strong language around the importance of limiting warming to 1.5 degrees. You all know just how important that is if we're to avoid the worst impacts of climate change. It makes clear that for that to happen, global emissions need to roughly halve this decade, and it calls on all countries to come back next year with new commitments. But particularly those like Australia that haven't yet done that, have got to come back as soon as possible. Now, as said, not everything is in there that everyone would want. There was a determined effort, for example, by the world's most vulnerable countries, including Pacific Island countries, to not only keep 1.5 alive, but also to have real assurances that there would be finance to address permanent loss and damage from climate change. That fight, sadly, is going to have to continue. What's in the final decision? I mean, there's something there, but it is not strong enough. It's not what vulnerable countries and communities deserve or what brings justice to frontline communities. So the fight on that front and many others is going to have to continue. But to be honest, we're going home even more empowered to push our government to do better, and the call from the international community has been unequivocal. A lot of scrutiny on Australia these last couple of weeks, and the longer Australia clings to its woefully inadequate 2030 target, the longer Australia keeps doubling down on fossil fuels, the more that international pressure is going to grow. And of course, that pressure from within Australia is only going to grow as well. We're going fairly soon into a federal election. We're going to keep working together, I'm sure, to make sure that Australia finally stops dragging its heels, starts being its best, that our government starts listening to Australians like you who care about the future, who are really wanting to get on with it. So there's lots to be happy about here, but the work is far from done, and we're going to be continuing this journey together.